Alright, so my buddy Matt the other day posted a video of the 2.7 turbo and its dimensions. But, and I'll post the link in the description up above, but I have a little fancier tools than him. And if you notice the difference in quality, I do have lapel mics now. So let's continue using that, and maybe you guys can hear me a little better. All right. So what we have here, obviously, is a 2.7 turbo. We need to pull the compressor apart, because I haven't yet. Shout out to one Ben Truby for sending me this turbo. He could have charged me a lot more than he did for it, but did not. So thank you, Ben. Really appreciate it. If you're a frequent member of the F-150 EcoBoost forum, you probably know Ben and Matt and a couple other people that I associate with on a regular basis, but are fairly well known on the forum anyway. Sorry, I should have prepped this beforehand. My bad. So yeah, this new microphone has a little dongle that plugs into the phone, connects wirelessly. It's got a range of like 65 feet. Haven't tried that yet, but I'm tempted. So far, it sounds pretty good, but we'll see how that continues to play out. So there's the turbine, not turbine, sorry, compressor. And there's the turbine, 2.7. What I also have here, we'll grab the clean one. And not that one, I think it's this one. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Factory wheels. Also have a 3.5. Now, right off the hop, you can see some differences. Obviously, the biggest one is the turbine housing. I do use the same Borg-Warner KO3 type flange. However, the wheel sizes are entirely different. You see this 2.7 is actually smaller. So, oh, let's not drop that. Dropped one of these. Just 3.5 Super Core. Already took the O-ring out because this is the one I was grabbing measurements from. So, if you're unfamiliar with these are what's called a snap gauge. See, they kind of just snap. Pretty handy. What you do is you close them up, set them in a hole, and you snap them open. Ideally, you can measure these with the micrometer, but I haven't ordered those yet. I just have calipers, which are close enough. 35.36. Come over here to the inducer. 34.5. So less than a millimeter difference. Clearance. is what that is. Same thing out here. Matt measured this one here. It's like 44 or something, I think. 41.36. 3.5 more than likely. Snap it all the way out. And this is where the fun begins. So, yeah, 45.6. So, theoretically, 45 millimeters is the largest you should be able to go on the compressor without having to sleeve it, just so you have some material here still. But that's, yeah, you could probably sleeve that or machine that all the way out and make it work. Sorry, it's like 2 in the morning. I'm getting tired. Okay, now we'll do the same thing in here. Snap that open. I think he said this was like 32. No, 39. Okay, 39 millimeters, give or take. Come in here. Oop. Oh, now I goofed. There we go. That's the, yeah, that's the exducer. On the exhaust, 39. 38. So 0.5 millimeter clearance. Exhaust side runs a little hotter, obviously. Therefore, it needs a little more clearance. Now, this is a used turbo, but I don't see any contact damage. Inducer is a little harder to measure, but we'll do that down here. 42. The extended tip is 42.8. So there no extended tip on this one. So if you're wondering what that means, let me grab you a couple compressor wheels. I have over here, I think this is the, yeah, this is the tall one. So if you look, side profile here, this is your extended tip. So your inducer technically is down here, down at the base. The extended tip comes up and around that way. So what the extended tip does is it just grabs a little bit more air and maximizes the, what's the word I'm looking for? Maximizes the available space given inside the compressor housing without creating conflict. Turbo science as a whole is an interesting subject, to say the least. Now, this should be, he had it at 19, 18. I was down in the lip a little bit. So you can see where the compressor wheel sits. You can see why that's your inducer and your extended tip. So even the factory compressor wheels have an extended tip on them and balance marks. So there's the 2.7. Slap this back in here. I didn't realize the compressor was pinned on these. I knew the turbine was. On to the 3.5. 3.5, your inducer on the compressor is 36. Extended tip is 52. I think the exducer is like 51, some change. Yeah. So there's 52 on your tips. If I could hit them with the tool, there we go. And then 36.65. Exhaust side. We are at 39 and 44. So, if you were a skilled machinist, because machining turbos is a major pain in the butt, if you were a skilled machinist, you could pick up 3.5 supercore, change your back plate so it matches your compressor housing, machine your compressor, machine your turbine, and pick up a little more power in a stock sized turbo, because these are slightly larger. Come over here on the compressor and verify it. If you haven't been following along, that compressor wheel I showed you with the extended tips, I'm actually machining, yeah, that's the one I dropped. Machining the 3.5 compressors, 37.3, to accept that wheel, because that's a 54, and no, not 54, 40 millimeter instead of 36. These actually taper, so if you come down here and measure, you're never getting that out. That's one of the things I corrected on my custom turbo. Straighten this out because it kind of bottlenecks and then opens back up. Don't know why. I didn't machine them that way. 38 millimeter inlet. So your compressor wheel's 36, your inlet's 38. These have a slight choke point right here. If someone were careful enough, they could port that and open it up just a little bit. I don't know how much wall thickness is there though, but I mean, the Chinese turbo that I'm machining, it was 200 bucks. 38 on the nose. So the 2.7 actually has a slightly larger outlet. Interesting. No, come on now. I did it again. Should be what, the 40, yeah, 41.3. So I think the wheel measures at like 40. So that's, or 40.3, 40.5, something like that. I don't remember. But that checks out. So, the major thing between these two, and why the 2.7 can make the same power with almost a liter less of displacement, is all in these supercores. So if you look, yes, the 2.7 wheel is smaller, but it's more open, at least from what I can tell. And a more open turbine will flow more air. As far as the compressor goes, there's really not a whole lot of difference in design. So that shouldn't make a whole lot of difference. Now, these wheels are bigger. Bigger engine. Makes sense. But this turbine is massively helpful, I would imagine. And I think I'm going to call it there. So, I hope this video was helpful to you. if you're into the Ford EcoBoost, you may find this entertaining. If not, and you're just into turbos, you still may find it entertaining. It pays to have fancy tools sometimes. It's actually the first time I've used those. Funny how that works. Yeah, don't forget to check out Matt's video up in the right-hand corner. Check the description down below. I've got links to my website, Patreon, Facebook, PayPal, a couple others. If you feel like contributing hardware or cash or what have you, you can do so through there, or you can shoot me an email and we can work the details out from there. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new. We're at 471 and continuing to go up. I love it. So have a good night.